You stupid. Why don't you up your hole? Your mother. Wait a minute. I have a thing for this. All right, much better. Time for some dumb memes from the left. So I'll admit I had a little bit of trouble this week because this week's meme barely qualifies as a meme, but oh God, is it dumb. And it's definitely coming from the left. So this meme came across my desk because a friend of mine shared this. So as a brief aside, we're going to read his comments on why he decided to share this because it reveals why he decided to share this, why this meme is taking hold, and it's going to speak to a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. Spot on. I don't understand the protesting. Just stay home and this will be over sooner. I know what you're all thinking, so yes, as a brief aside, no, this won't necessarily be over if we just stay at home, because if we take the Sweden model, then this will be over in a week. And if we take the communist model, then no, this won't be over ever, because this is what they want us to do. Seen on Facebook. I'm confused. You say it's your right to protest, but you get angry when Kaepernick takes a knee. You say your body is your own, but you get angry at a woman who demands the same. You're against abortion, saying every life is precious, yet you're willing to sacrifice your parents and grandparents for the economy. You claim coronavirus is fake, yet you wear a mask, gown, and gloves. You say healthcare is a privilege, but want your COVID-19 hospitalization covered. You say socialism is bad, yet your hand is out for a stimulus check, unemployment benefits, and you wait in line at a food bank. What you say confuses me. Forgive me if I no longer care what you say. So, lightning round and then pick apart the best parts? I'm confused. Of course you are. This is what happens when you refuse to engage in good faith and always rely on imputing your political opponent with false motive. You say it's your right to protest, but you get angry when Kaepernick takes a knee. Time, manner, place. You say your body is your own, but you get angry at a woman who demands the same. Because one side thinks what's in the womb is another woman. Care to apply my body, my choice to any other aspect of life, by the way? You're against abortion, saying every life is precious, yet you're willing to sacrifice your parents and grandparents for the economy. False equivalency? No. And the unavoidable existence of scarcity means you're going to have to make trade-offs. Welcome to Econ 101. I see it's your first day. Let me show you around. You say healthcare is a privilege, but want your COVID-19 hospitalization covered. No one's calling it a privilege, and get this, free market capitalists want a free market capitalist system. So, also not true. What you say confuses me. Of course it does. See bad faith. Forgive me if I no longer care what you say. Yeah, well, thank you for proving my point. One side is evil, the other one wants to engage in good faith. Good night, everybody. It's a wrap. That's a fun show. See you next week. Yeah, so they're not getting off that easy. Let's have some selected fun with this mess. Spot on. I don't understand the protesting. Just stay at home and this will be over soon. Seen on Facebook. I'm confused. Yeah. So the reason this is the case is because one side refuses to engage in good faith and actually make any effort whatsoever to actually understand the other side's positions. This is why one side can explain the other side's positions, but this side can't explain the other side's positions. In a study I did with Jesse Graham and Brian Nosek, we tested how well liberals and conservatives could understand each other. We asked more than 2,000 American visitors to fill out the Moral Foundation's questionnaire. 1/3 of the time they were asked to fill it out normally, answering as themselves. 1/3 of the time they were asked to fill it out as they think a typical liberal would respond. 1/3 of the time they were asked to fill it out as a typical conservative would respond. This design allowed us to examine the stereotypes that each side held about the other. More importantly, it allowed us to assess how accurate they were by comparing people's expectations about typical partisans to the actual responses from partisans on the left and the right. Who was best able to pretend to be the other? The results were clear and consistent. Moderates and conservatives were most accurate in their predictions, whether they were pretending to be liberals or conservatives. Liberals were the least accurate, especially those who describe themselves as very liberal.
You say the introduction of the equal pay for equal work argument immediately complicates even salary comparison beyond practicality for one simple reason. Who decides what work is equal? It's not possible. So the simple question is, do you believe in equal pay?
Well, I made the argument there. It's like it depends on
So
who
you don't
defines
believe
it.
in equal pay?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I'm interested that you won't accept that survivors of rape and sexual violence find what you've done to be incredibly hurtful.
And you won't accept that survivors of sexual violence find what I've done empowering.
You've spoken to one person.
No, I've
who said
spoken
that
to lots
you.
of people. That's just the one example that I'm giving you right now.
Why do you think you've had kippers and milkshakes thrown over you while campaigning?
Because you're radicalizing people by lying about me.
So there is a link, you say, between language and acts of violence?
There is a link between telling lies about someone in the press, and you don't seem to have any duty of care over this at all, and the things that they're trying to do, because they don't know
So there
what I
is a link
stand
between
for.
language, between rhetoric and acts of violence.
Yes, but you're not telling jokes. Are you telling
So it
jokes?
follows then that there is a link between your rape language and potential acts of violence.
No, because I was telling a joke. It was very clearly contextually a joke. This is why you have to decontextualize it in order for what you're saying to make sense.
We have been sold this meme of Islamophobia, where every criticism of the doctrine of Islam gets conflated with bigotry toward Muslims as people.
Right.
And that is it's intellectually ridiculous. Even it gets
So hold on,
conflated
are
with
you
racism.
the person who understands the officially codified doctrine of Islam? You're the interpreter of that, so you can say, well, this is. I think
I'm actually well educated on this topic.
I'm asking you. So you're saying if I criticize you're saying that Islamophobia is not a real thing.
I'm hearing you basically saying women need to just accept they're never going to make it on equal terms, equal outcomes is how you defined it.
No, I didn't
If
say
I was
that.
a young
said that
woman
equal-
watching that, I would go, well, I might as well just go and play with my Cindy dolls and give
didn't
up
say
trying
that.
at school because I'm not going to get the top job I want because
said
there's
that
someone sitting there saying it's not possible
I
and it's
said
not
that
desirable, it's
equal
going to make
outcomes
you
aren't
miserable.
desirable. That's what I said. It's a
Yeah,
bad
it's not
social
desirable.
goal. I didn't say that women shouldn't be striving for the top or anything like that, because I don't believe that for a second.
People should marry people who have similar values.
Oh,
But I don't know if
fucking
by
God.
kind they mean ethnicity or race, in which case completely disagree. So it completely depends on what they mean by the question. There's inherent vagary to these questions. And I understand that
Vagary! Vagary! Dude! You've had media training! Come on, man! I haven't had...
But the questions are deliberately written in vague fashion to elicit those responses.
No, they're not. Everyone knows what it means. Oh yeah, someone wrote out. Oh yeah, here's question number 8. People should stick to their own kind. Ben Shapiro. Well, I don't know exactly what they mean by to their own kind. Do they mean people who speak the same language or share the same basic values when it comes to schooling and finance? Well, about that I agree, of course, because languages, when shared, allow people to communicate. Let's say, for example, that if I spoke with a person who didn't share my language, I would have very much difficulty communicating with them, and communication is the bedrock of a. No, it means fucking race and ethnicity.
So knowing what they want, I'm going to go strongly disagree.
Tell us about the lobster.
So much for the empathetic left. You say it's your right to protest, but you get angry when Kaepernick takes a knee. As I've said 100 times, if Kaepernick, on his own dime, on his own time, wanted to stage street protests, nobody would have complained. But instead... Also, while we're crapping on the left, when was the last time you saw organized nationwide protests from the right? Yeah. Has it been any time in the last 50 years? Could it be because one side doesn't like to protest and would rather be productive members of society? But now that we've been forced to stay at home? You claim coronavirus is fake, yet you wear a mask, gown, and gloves. Nobody claimed it was fake. That's why we wear masks, gowns, and gloves? Are you describing doctors who are still wearing masks, gowns, and gloves because they're doctors? And they work in hospitals? You say your body's your own, but you get angry at a woman who demands the same. So the reason protesters are carrying around my body, my choice signs is because you won't apply my body, my choice to any other aspect of life. And you clearly are only using my body, my choice out of political convenience. So thank you for proving our point. You're against abortion, saying every life is precious, yet you're willing to sacrifice your parents and grandparents for the economy. Oh, God. Do we really have to do this? Chapter 1, page 1. Scarcity. Neither the poor nor the wealthy have unlimited time, income, or wealth, and both must make choices to use these limited items in a way that best satisfies their wants. Because wants are unlimited and incomes, time, and other items are not, scarcity exists everywhere. Scarcity of something means that there is not enough of that item to satisfy everyone who wants it. It means that if a good has no cost, that is, at a zero price, the amount of the good that people want is greater than the amount that is available. Anything for which this condition holds is called an economic good. An economic good refers to goods and services, where goods are physical products, such as books or food, and services are non-physical products, such as haircuts or golf lessons. You claim coronavirus is fake, yet you wear a mask, gown, and gloves. Snopes, folks. Not even Snopes is willing to confirm this bullshit. You say healthcare is a privilege, but want your COVID-19 hospitalization covered.
Healthcare is not a right. Healthcare is a commodity.
You say healthcare is a privilege.
Healthcare is a commodity.
Privilege.
Commodity.
Privilege.
Commodity.
You say healthcare is a
Commodity.
You say socialism is bad, yet your hand is out for a stimulus check, unemployment benefits, and you wait in line at a food bank. So when some jackass drives a truck through your office, and you're not able to make any money because you can't go to work, and you sue for damages because you can't go to work, for the amount of money you missed out on because you can't go to work, those are called damages, not socialism. Say it with me, folks. Private property protections. The mere existence of government is not socialism. And yeah, just like every lottery ticket winner ever, if somebody comes and plops cash on my lap and says, deposit and spend as you so choose, I'm going to the bank and depositing it and spending it as I so choose because I'm not an idiot. What you say confuses me. And yet your confusion doesn't confuse me. Forgive me if I no longer care what you say. Again, your inability to understand the other side, to put yourself into their shoes, is built on exactly this. You're not acting in good faith. We've said you don't want to act in good faith. You keep impugning the other side with false motive, and we've called you out on it constantly. And what's worse is the echo chambers you guys are calling for because you're immoral and unprincipled actors are the exact things that are dividing and polarizing this country's politic. And if there's any honesty in the statement that you no longer care what I have to say, well, what if I said, get deported to Venezuela, you leftist scum, and be forced to decide between murdering your own dog and actually starving?
You wanted to be a genie? You got it! And everything that goes with it.
Right, so I've had enough with this dumpster fire. Let's see what you guys had to say. Geez, where would you even start with this? Good question. Let me put up a timestamp. Getting angry when Kaepernick takes a knee is my protest. The baby's in the woman's womb is a body. We sacrifice nothing for the economy. Quarantine the sick and let the vulnerable social distance. Nobody is claiming the coronavirus is fake. What? Gotta be to work by 8 a.m. All good points, but how do I work a copyrighted Disney clip into that? All right. Well, that was exhausting. We'll see everybody next week on Wednesday night, as we always do, with another episode of Dumb Memes from the Left. Next week's Dumb Meme will be posted on the Liberty Blocks Facebook page on Monday night. Link is in this video's description. As always, best comments will make next week's video, and we'll see you next Wednesday night. Night, everybody.